Hello everyone and welcome to the 2 SRL Tier 2 Italian Grand Prix, where we will be starting qualifying right now. Let me just pull up everything on the spectator menu, because I did not come prepared, as this was a last minute call. So let's see who is first on track. It appears to be the Haas of Grenade Goran, coming to Lesmo 1 right now. Everyone is just starting their out lap for their first run qualifying. And we should get some times down soon, or people should be starting the lap soon. Everyone's just warming up their tires. Oh shoot, I just noticed I don't have a proper camera. What's the button for it again? It's F6, alright. Yes, I have my own camera, that's kinda cringe. But unfortunately I can't trade right now. But Grenade Goran is about to start his lap, going into Parabolica and flying down the main straight, taking the widest line possible to get as much speed as he can onto that straight. DRS open, flying down towards turn 1, braking at just before 100 meters, cutting the chicane a lot, gaining a lot of time there. Nailing the exit. Let's go on board real quick, as he's flying through Curva Grande down to the second chicane. Purple sector 1, as to be expected. Cutting the chicane nicely, taking it pretty slowly, just to be sure to set that banker lap. Really on the edge of track limits there on Lesmo 1. Now on to the second straight, DRS open. Flying down towards Ascari. Purple sector 2 as well. Not choosing to cut the left curb, just trying to be safe, as Tipsy Bob joins the session a little bit late, but still at least joining. Flying down again towards Parabolica for the last corner. And we have a yellow flag that appears to be Zola Zola. I don't know if it was a crash or if he was just letting people by. And as well as, I think that's Nico, who appears to either have spun or letting people by. Now 2SRL Lucas flying down towards the finishing line. He goes provisional P2 of a 118.962. As Grenade Goran got a 118.843. Who else is going to come over the line? I think that's Joel. Joel goes third with a 120.2. And then it's the Renault of Brooklyn going for jumping Joel. We will have a lot of cars going over the finish line now. Let's see, I think that will be Ferrari next. That appears to be Larson, as their hammer puts down a 21.3. Larson had invalidate, I think, or he's on a later start. Now, I Am Furious in the Alfa Romeo goes P5 with 119.652. And the other Alfa is about to start his lap. Oh, that was a really big moment of oversteer there for Larson out of turn 1. Actually, that might be turn 2. I'm not so good in counting, excuse me for that. But that did lose him a lot of time. What was sector time? It was 26.5. That's not really quick. He lost a lot of time there with that oversteer. No, and he oversteers again. And that's the end of this lap. He must abandon that, as he does, because that's just not good. Let's go on board with FTL Curse now, as he also almost spins out, almost crashes out of the second chicane. It appears people are struggling on grip quite a bit, as I don't think anyone else is on a fast lap right now. So we have a moment of just waiting for people to change tires and go back out, as Triton is now going out, as well as Matt and Nico. Now, I do not expect these guys to go for another lap back to back after they invalidated the previous lap. Actually, let's go on board with Larson. No, that's not Larson starting this lap. That's Niebuhr going for another lap. He's going for a back-to-back. Oh, he's on a medium tire. Excuse me. Let me just pull up the menu real quick. Oh, that's the wrong button. Detail fitted. Nope, that's the wrong button again. Never is actually on the medium tire, which I haven't seen before. So he did a 21.3 on the medium tire as he's flying down towards the second chicane. Now, will it be an improvement in Sector 1? And it is an improvement by 2/10, which is a lot of time. He really cuts that chicane very well. Goes out deep on exit, where you actually have a lot of grip, more than you would expect. Now, in Lesmo, keeps it clean. Second Lesmo goes over the curb. Carries a lot of speed through there. DRS open, now flying down towards Ascari. Through the second straight. Now Ascari is a really critical point on this track. You really have to carry a lot of speed through, but try not to invalidate. As Niebuhr there actually locked up a tiny bit on his left front, I believe. But still managed to keep a lot of speed in that corner. He is now flying down towards Parabolica. Now shifting to 4th gear. Immediately upshifting to 6th, excuse me. And is he gonna improve by a lot? He improves by 4/10, 5/10 even, almost 6. Still P7 with a 120.8. Let's see, I think Triton is on a lap. No, he's not. Appears he abandoned. Let's see, Matt. Is he on a lap? Yes, he is. Lesmo 2 right now. Opening his DRS. Will he be up on Sector 2? Because we haven't been following his lap. The Alpha Tauri flying down. Not improving. Oh, actually, he's setting his first lap. Excuse me. So he is setting his bank right now. Oh, a bit squiggly on the exit there. Took a little bit too much of that curb, unsettled the car. But he kept it alive. Then again, this is just his banker. So let's see how it will go. His banker appears to be pretty solid with a 119.5. Puts him provisionally in P5. Let's go on board with Nico now, who is invalidated. Will he have enough for another lap? Let's try to look on his steering wheel. And it looks like he will. But he decides to go in anyway. So is anyone else on the lap? I think Zola might be on a lap. As he is going down towards turn 1 right now. Tries to get a good exit out of the chicane, which he does. Flying down towards the second chicane in Curva Grande. In 8th gear. This corner is so quick, it's really unbelievable. It's not really a corner anymore. Braking at 100. Taking it pretty safe. Trying to just get a time on the board. Lesmo a bit on the edge. Chooses not to take the curb on the inside on Lesmo 2. But gets a good exit onto the back straight. In the Williams. Really on the edge of that curb. There goes purple in Sector 2. Gets maybe blocked a little bit by the Red Bull of Triton. Didn't look like a big issue there. But now in Parabolica tries to nail the power and flying down towards the line. Lucas goes provisional P1 with 118.6 and Zola goes provisional P2 with a 118.7. Less than a 1/10 of a gap between P1 and P2. Now Curse, he is on a lap. He is on the exit of Lesmo 2. Gets a cheeky little toe from Joel in front of him. And is that Joel or is that Nico actually? I'm not sure. Oh, when he invalidates, he cuts a little bit too much on the entrance of Ascari. And he pays the price of invalidating his lap. Which is very unfortunate for him. Now, is that Nico in front of him? No, it's not. That was Joel, so I was correct. Who else is on a lap right now? I think Tipsy is starting his lap right now. So let's go on board with him. As he's going down to turn 1. Braking on the shadow. Cuts a little bit. Oh, gets oversteer. After the first corner of the chicane. That's not optimal. Or as McLaren would say, that's very suboptimal. But still continuing his lap, trying to set a time. As he said in chat, he is testing a new setup. Taking it very nicely, chooses not to cut the second curb. Now exit Lesmo 1, keeps it clean. Takes the curb on Lesmo 2, but doesn't take the exit on Lesmo 2. Or the exit curb, I should say. Tries to grab a little bit of toe from Brooklyn in the Renault. Doesn't really help him much. Now into Ascari. Takes it clean for the first apex. Doesn't take the curb. But keeps it clean. Just tries to set a good banker lap that he can improve on. You see Nico in the background flying on a lap as well, which we'll switch to in a second when Tipsy sets his lap. It appears to be a decent banker. Now 119.7 puts him in P10 currently. Let's go to Nico now. Oh, that wasn't Nico, that was Joel. Excuse me for that. Nico now tries to set a lap as well, flying down the back straight. Will he take it clean through Ascari? Let's hope he will. Braking at about 100 meters, turning in. Keeps it clean. Takes oh, squealy on the exit and invalidates his lap. Really unfortunate there for Nico. Just not what you want to do. Touch that curb, not enough. Unsettle the car. Caused some oversteer and he went off track. And lost his entire lap. His Niebuhr appears to just be driving on those medium tires. Not looking like he's worrying about it. As Lucas is now on his outlap on a medium tire. When he's currently on pole position. Who else is on lap? I think Grenade Goran is on a lap. He's on a 10th of an improvement. So let's see in Parabolica. Will he keep it clean? Get a good exit. It looks like this will be an improvement. But will it be enough for pole? And it won't be enough for pole. Just misses out on half a 10th to pole position. So Lucas keeps his pole position currently. But Brooklyn, does he improve? Goes pole with a 118.5. On the soft compound of tire. Who is the next person that's going to come over the line? There is a Racing Point. That's Lucas, who's about to start his lap on a medium tire. I wonder if he's going to improve, as the medium tire is quite a bit slower than the soft tire. But let's see if he can improve by that 1/10 to get pole on the medium compound. Down to turn 1. Has to brake a little bit earlier than he would on the softs. Barely, but still a little bit. Locks up his right front going into the turn. But gets a very good exit. No oversteer. Very clean. In curvy ground. It takes a bit of a wider line. Into the second chicane. Braking at 100 meters. Locking up a tiny bit. Taking both curbs the best he can. Keeps it clean. Into Lesmo 2 now. Little bit oversteer, but he appeared to correct it. Here misses the apex completely. Goes off track, but the game doesn't give him invalidation. So he keeps the run alive. Let's see if he is up in the second sector. And he is down by 6/10. So this definitely won't be an improvement. As he cuts the exit of Lesmo as well. Or not Lesmo, Ascari, excuse me. Nico is out on his medium tires. I don't think he has any softs left, so that's his last choice. Now, Curse appears to have invalidated. So he abandoned his lap. Band is not on a lap either. Who here is on a lap? There's a Alfa Romeo off track. And Larson, I think. No, that isn't Larson. That's Niebuhr who's off track. Standing still in neutral. After turn 1. As he gets disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. That's interesting. Niebuhr, the number 86 Ferrari, gets disqualified from the session. And he'll be driving now. Or his AI will be driving. Thankfully he parks on a safe spot, so it won't block Nico, who is on a lap. But let's spectate Joel first, as he is the leading McLaren at the moment in P13 on the medium tires. Flying down towards Ascari. Will he keep it clean for here? This is a very hard corner to be on the edge. Takes it very nicely though. Little bit of oversteer, but he appears to be controlling it very well. Flying down towards Parabolica. Oh, bit squealy there on the exit. Just keeps it in between the lines. Decides to go in as it doesn't work for him. So let's go to Nico now, who's on the last straight. before Parabolica. Is he gonna be able to improve? Is he gonna be able to set a time on those medium tires? Which it looks like he will. But what will it be? Will it be enough for top 10? Or will he be out of the top 10? It appears to be a 120.0, which puts him in P12 currently, just beating his teammate. Is that Tipsy on a lap? It is Tipsy Bob on a lap. So Tipsy Bob in the Lesmos currently. Takes it very clean. He said his setup doesn't work. But we will see if that's true or if he's just pulling a Lewis Hamilton. He is improved by 4/10 when he goes through the Sector 2 line. So I think he might have pulled a Lewis Hamilton and said his tires are dead when they're not really dead. Tipsy now in Parabolica. Of yellow flag behind him. Not sure what that was for. But Tipsy Bob now going over the line goes on P8 with 119.1. And let's see on that. I think that's Furious. It is in the Alfa Romeo. On a hot lap. About to start his lap. Flying down towards turn 1. With the insane speeds. He's going 344 kph down the straight. Gets a good exit, doesn't get any over. Touches the grass there a little bit, which did lose him a tiny bit of time. But I think he will still improve. He is just down on his time. Cuts the chicane, doesn't get an invalidation. Does it very well. Into Lesmo 1 now. Really on the edge of track limits there. Literally driving on the line. It looks like a very solid Sector 2 from him. But will it be enough for improvement? That's the biggest question. Improves by 4.5/10 going into Ascari. Tries to keep Ascari clean. Goes on the curb on the inside, which you don't want to do. But he didn't invalidate, so he is keeping it clean. Now into Parabolica. Will it be an improvement? Will it be enough? Didn't he lose enough time not to improve? But he improves. He goes to a 119.1. Improves by 4.5/10. So he didn't gain anything in Sector 3. There is now a spun AlphaTauri out of exit first chicane. It looks like to be Matt. Who gets passed by Lucas. Lucas is finished now. Qualifying is officially over. But there are some people still on their lap. This is Rene on their lap. Invalidating Ascari when being too greedy on the curb. Behind him, it looks like it might be Kurz. And it is. Kurz getting a cheeky little toe there. On the back straight from Bans. Into Parabolica now. Goes wide on the exit and invalidates on the outside of Parabolica. And that is qualifying wrapped up. With, I think that's Lucas on pole. We'll see the result here in a second. It is Lucas on pole position with a 118.2. Having locked out pole with 2.5/10. Behind him is Brooklyn in P2 and Zola in P3. Then on the second row is Grenade Goran. Third row is Triton and Bands. As Niebuhr is disqualified last, we have one person on the mediums, and that's Nico in P12. And we will be loading into the race now. As all the drivers are choosing their strategy, getting ready for the race, applying the amount of fuel that they want. Drivers outside of the top 10 can choose the tire they want to start on. It appears to be dry in the race. So no rain. If anyone knows if it is going to rain later on the race, it would be nice if I could get that information. If not, then I assume it will be dry all throughout. As we are standing on the grid, going for the formation lap now. The driver is slowly pulling away on the formation lap, trying to warm their tires. Let's see what tires everyone chose. So P11 to P14 on the mediums as to be expected, and the rest on the soft tire compound. As we will go on board with Lucas real quick. Just on a casual formation lap, warming up their tires, getting ready, getting prepared for the start. Just trying to not wear their tires. Oh, as Lucas has a bit of oversteer. Too greedy on the throttle there, loses the car a little bit. Now in Ascari, everyone is getting closer toward the point where the AI takes over for them, puts them on the grid, and then we can start. As the cars are now pulling up to their grid slots. A little bit ghosting going behind, but that's nothing new in F1 2020 on the formation lap. Everyone is lining up now. And we will start in just a second. As everyone is still pulling up. Getting ready. Putting their clutch in. Why can't I see the lights? It's 5 lights and away we go on the Italian Grand Prix of 2 SLR Tier 2. It looks like the Williams of Zola got a very good start, but as well as Brooklyn and Renault. Lucas already dropping down to P4, going down into turn 1. Hopefully there's no drama, a little bit of touching there, but it looks pretty clean from what I can see. Lucas dropped down to P4, Brooklyn in P1 leading. Behind him is Grenade Goran. It looks like everyone did make it through turn 1 clean, which is a very good side. Now into the second chicane. A few cars going side by side. Lucas still in P4. Bance now in P5. In the Mercedes. Tipsy Bob in P7. Tipsy Bob in P6. Someone has spun. It appears to be Triton who has spun. Does he have damage? It appears he does. I think I saw a little bit of front wing laying there. But that's so. Who is that? That's Tipsy Bob, who also spun. Does he have damage? As well, yellow flags. No safety cars. And Tipsy Bob appears to have no damage, but there might be not seeable from my side. It might be that he has a light green front wing. Let's hope he doesn't. Let's hope he can continue this race and catch the pack. He's 6 seconds behind. In front, Brooklyn is pulling a little bit of a gap. He has an 8/10 gap now on Grenade Goran in P2. Everyone is flying. Brooklyn setting the first fastest lap time with a 1:24.4. There is quite a gap between Bance and Zola. So Bance is a bit in no man's land at the moment. 1 second gap in front and behind. Let's go on board with Zola, who's at the back of this pack. Of the top 4. As they're flying down towards the second chicane. That might have been a warning there for Zola, I'm not sure, as the standings are spazzing out. There's a sector 2 yellow flag. Who is that? That's Matt in the Alpha Tauri, who has spun, damaged his front wing quite severely on both sides. His left side might be orange or even a red, and his right side is definitely a dark yellow. He's letting Tipsy go through. Zola now has a 3-second time penalty. Currently P5. Now it says Triton is in P1, but I don't think he actually is. No, he isn't. That's Brooklyn still in P1. So the UI is still kind of bugged. Oh, it appears to fix itself now, which is good. As we are starting the third lap now. With Lucas sending a fast time of 122.4. Into turn 1. Let's go on board with Lucas here. Who's right on the gearbox of Goran. Who is that pitting? That's Nico pitting as well as Matt. Nico might have picked up a little bit of damage. Let's check the tires real quick. That everyone has picked up. So Larsen is in P7 on the medium tire as well as Joe in P8. Nico and Matt decided to pit for the hard tires. Trying to pull a long stint to the end of the race. And let's see if that will work out for them. Hopefully it will. Zola is currently the only one with a penalty. So the Williams driver will have to pull a 3-second gap to Band to secure that P4 spot. As Brooklyn is spun, I think. Brooklyn spun on the exit of Ascari, damaging his front wing very severely now. Band's up into P4, Brooklyn down to P5. Grenade Goran is now leading the Grand Prix. With 5/10 on Lucas. Triton on fresh mediums, not deciding to go for the hard tire, decides to go on the mediums, hoping for perhaps a safety car later. Brooklyn now pitting, probably gonna go for the hard tire. Of course, getting his front wing replaced as well. Matt get a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. That's interesting, he must have cut the second chicane then. Brooklyn does go for the hard tires, as I expected. Now, there is a big gap between Bands and Zola. That's 2.5 seconds. So Bands has a lot of work if he wants to get a podium in this race. But he is gaining a little bit through the Lesmo. As there's sector 3 yellow flag, that's Matt retiring from the Grand Prix. Let's go on board with Grant Gore and see what happened there, as he is the closest to the incident. And we have a full-blown safety car. So this will get a lot of drivers boxing. And Matt has crashed there on the left as his car disappears right now. So this will cause a lot of people to box for, I would guess, the hard tire. Because the mediums would be a stretch to the end. So this will be interesting. Everyone has to follow the Delta now. We only have 13 cars in the race as Matt is retired. Will not be able to drive in this race anymore. Grant Goran decides to go in. Lucas is staying out. Zola going in. Band decides to go in as well. Almost everyone going in. Even the medium guys are going in. Who's that staying out? I think that's Furious and Niebuhr are both staying out. Larsen get a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So I understand why Niebuhr would stay out, but I Am Furious has to stay out because of his teammate who decided to pit for the hards. Everyone is pitting for the hard tire. Tipsy now double stacking with Bands, as he also has a 5-second penalty, which he has to wait for apparently. But he is going out right now. Let's check on the penalty situation real quick. We have Zola for 3 seconds, Bands for 5 seconds, and Larsen with a 5 seconds, excuse me. But does Tipsy get overtaken by Nico? I think yes he does. He doesn't get out of the pit lane quick enough, so Nico is in front of him now. Everyone will be lining up behind the safety car. As I need to get some water real quick actually, because my mouth is really hecking dry. Oh, it appears I have found my bottle of water. Who's getting a 3-second penalty for corner cutting? That's interesting. He got a corner cutting penalty under a safety car. So he must have been pushing too much, just cut the corner of his car. That's Very interesting mistake, if I may say so. There's a few people pitting. That's Furious pitting. As well as Larson. Didn't Larson pit already? Larson is on the hard tire, but he's pitting for mediums now. Oh, he's doing his 5-second penalty. Maybe that's why he's pitting. Because he just wants to get rid of it for a later stage of the race. But Lucas is leading again now. After he dropped down from pole position on lap 1. Is back in the lead on soft tires. Let's see how old his tires are. He starts at 5 laps old, so he will have to stretch them a little bit longer if he wants to go on the medium tire for the medium strategy. As I would expect the safety car to go in next lap, so not this lap, one more, because Triton is quite far away from the pack. Let's see. Triton in the Red Bull trying to catch up, cutting the corner there. So obviously he tries to keep the heat in the tires, but also tries to keep up with the pack. So the safety car might actually go in this lap, and we'll see that in just a second as the safety car will cross the safety car line. Which I think is on the exit of Ascari. And the safety car might be staying out for one more lap then. And yes it is staying out for one more lap. So we will have one more lap of the safety car. As Triton is now catching up to the back of the field. So pretty much everyone is on the hard tire, besides Lucas in P1, Niebuhr in P2 on the medium tires. In P11 we have Furious on the fresh soft compound. As Larson is pitting again from the mediums. What is his plan here? He's going for the hards again. So that's an interesting strategy. He did, what would it be? 4 pit stops now? I think it would be 3 stops. This is his 3rd stop that he did. And he stopped for the hard tire now. Interesting strategy we got going on from SLR Larson. Currently in P13 in the number 37 Ferrari. He needs to catch up with the pack now, which he probably will, because the safety car is going pretty slow through the Lesmos. Everyone is starting to warm up their tires now. Try to get some heat, especially into those hard tires, as they are really hard to warm up. Because of course they're very hard. They will last a long time, but they're hard to warm up. And they're very slow compared to the other tires. So safety car is going in this lap. From now on, Lucas is controlling the pace. Brooklyn has a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Which is also very interesting, seeing as he's in the middle of the pack. But Lucas controlling the pace, keeping it steady at, what is it, about, I can't see, 125 kilometers. Everyone weaving, warming up their tires, try to get as much heat into them as possible to not spin. And I think Lucas might be going. He's going now, and we are out on lap 7, going again. The track is about to go green right now. And we are racing again. Lucas got a little bit of a gap, but he didn't catch Niebuhr sleeping. Niebuhr was right on it. I don't remember how you look backwards. What button was that? It's a good one. See his camera, is it V? I don't remember, I can't find the button and my controller isn't working. But Niebuhr on the medium tire is behind Lucas. Lucas will have to pull a gap to Niebuhr if he wants to get that soft medium strategy done. But I think Niebuhr is really in a race winning position here on those medium tires. Will he be able to pull a gap from Grenade Goran, who is in P3 on the hard tire? Or will Goran stay in the DRS? Of course, DRS isn't on for 2 more laps after the safety car came out. So he needs to stay. He goes off track a little bit. That must have been a warning. Someone went sideways. That was a McLaren. I think that was Joel going sideways on the exit of Ascari there. Losing a little bit of traction, but keeps it alive. Back there I think was Furious looking on the inside of Tipsy Bob. He will overtake him right here. He's just so much quicker using that overtake button. And flying past Tipsy Bob. Of course, he is on the soft tire, so he'll have to pit one more time at least. Breaking down towards turn 1. He will slice through the traffic like a knife through, like a hot knife through butter, because he is, of course, on the softest and freshest compound. Is there anyone else really close together? Zola is really close on the back of that Vance. Vance looks like he had a little bit of an oversteer moment exit second chicane. But now Zola does have a lot of ERS to attack Vance with. But Vance got a really good exit here. He's really flying, but he does have only 44% ERS compared to about 70 that Zola has. It's very hard to see on that little screen, and me having super low graphics on. Furious now gets a 3-second penalty. Where is Furious? Furious is currently in P10 on the soft tire. Sector 3, yellow flag. Someone has crashed. That is Joel out of the race with a yellow flag. Will it become something else? I don't think it does. Nico now getting overtaken by Furious. Furious is up into P8. Lucas setting a fastest lap of a 1:22.3. Larson is now in P12. Behind Triton, as Furious is really flying. Tries to look for overtake on Brooklyn, but doesn't make it happen. He's just a little bit too far behind. Flying down in Parabolica. Will he try to overtake him into the second chicane? Brooklyn goes on the racing line. Lets Furious have it. Furious just braking a fraction later. Has the overtake done. He is of course on the soft tire, so it would be kind of dumb fighting, as you will both end up losing time. Now, is anyone super close together? I don't think they are. Niebuhr has pulled a 2-second gap to Goran behind them, so they are starting to pull away, him and Lucas. Lucas's tires will start to fall off heavily now, as Lucas' pit stop window is starting to open up. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Lucas box even this lap. Because that's a normal pit stop window. Of course, we had a very long safety car, so he has kept his tires alive. He is staying out. Will Niebuhr go for the attack? He has the DRS. Using the overtake button. Lucas is very quick on the straight though. Niebuhr is looking for it, but decides not to go for it. Brakes a little bit earlier. Decides to wait. They have built a very big gap now, 2.0 seconds. Nico has another penalty now to his name. As he has lost some positions as well. He's currently running last. As he gets overtaken by Triton as well, although they are side by side. Now Triton is now fully in front. Well, Nico tried to overtake him. Nico brakes a little bit earlier, keeps it alive. Through the second chicane. As we have this very close pack of 4 cars. Oh, Nico bits quickly on the exit there, keeps it on track. Triton went off track there, as they all have DRS. I think Triton is using the overtake button there. No, he's just so much faster on a straight line compared to Nico. Nico must be running a lot of rear wing there. Triton actually going deep. Nico now goes in front of him. Triton outbraked himself into the Ascari chicane, causing Nico to get a position up and himself to have to give the position back. Furious has a faster lap of 121.7. Let's go on board with him on the soft tires. Now behind his teammate FTL Curse. Look how much he gains on the braking. Very big pack here in front. A lot of cars, and I think that's Grenade Goran leading this pack of hard tire runners. Let's check the penalties real quick. See how the penalty situation is. Bans of 5 seconds, Zolo with 3 seconds, Curse with 3 seconds, as well as Furious in Brooklyn, and Nico with 3 seconds as well. The rest doesn't have any penalties, but that can still change. We're about halfway into the race. So there's still a lot of things that can happen. Triton now has a penalty, speak of the devil. Very unfortunate for him, running in P11, already overtaken Nico. Nico must have spun. He's struggling a lot under traction with these tires. He keeps sliding all over the road. Niebuhr already taken the lead, which I didn't saw. So Lucas's tires must really be falling apart now, as Niebuhr already almost pulled a DRS gap. Lucas barely stayed in the DRS. Will he decide to go in? He won't. He's trying to stay in the DRS, as he does still have it, so he is going. But he didn't open it. That's interesting. Maybe it's for me that the light turned on and the beep came on, but maybe for him there was no DRS. So I think it would be optimal for him to box now. Let's go on board with Curse. As Bans decided, is pulling away a little bit. Sector 1 yellow flag. There's a big pile up behind. Larson needs to take the escape road. And Tipsy Bob is last now. There must have been a big pile up here because a lot of people were standing still. Nico into P10 now. And Tipsy Bob falling into last. So this is interesting. Tipsy Bob has some damage. So he will have to stop, as well as Larson. Larson also has damage. Does Nico have any damage? Doesn't appear so. Maybe Triton. Let's hope he doesn't have any damage. The camera will switch. Game, please. Triton doesn't have any damage from what it looks. Niebuhr now pulling a 2-second gap to Lucas. Lucas will probably dive into the pits right now. Yes, he does. He goes into the pits right now. But Band is right on Goran's gearbox. At least he was. Goran really slippery in that straight line. Band's locking up slightly into that chicane. But keeps it in the 1 second. Now is pulling a little bit on Grenade Goran. Tipsy will retire from the session. That's a retirement in the pit lane. Really unfortunate to see. Apparently that new setup didn't work out for him. And of course the big crash that happened in turn 1. Really unfortunate for him as well. Larson pits as well. He's now on a medium tire. That will make him a little bit quicker. But let's see. Who was that going into the pits again? That's Lucas, who's currently in P10 on the medium tire. As he will try to get on the charge and overtake as many people as he possibly can. There's a sector 2 yellow flag. That's Nico. I think that spun. Let's go and bring Lucas to see what happened. Nico retiring from the session after hitting the wall in between the two Lesmos. It really looked like Nico was struggling. And with another safety car. Full-blown safety car again. So Nico must have crashed. He appeared to really be struggling on the traction. And in the end, it cost him to DNF, which is really unfortunate to see, as we only have 10 drivers left in this Grand Prix. As Larson will now overtake Nico's crashed car. Nico leaving the session. There is Nico's crashed car standing still. And we have traffic in the pit lane from what it looks like. Niebuhr pit for the soft tire, as to be expected. Curse is pitting for mediums, which is quite questionable. His teammate is gonna box for mediums as well. Brooklyn, let's actually pull up the details. This will be a little bit easier. A lot of people decided to go for the medium tires. Of course, they started on the soft tire. Never mind, that's my mistake. Wait, no, everyone went on the hard. So it's... I wonder why no one actually went on the soft tires besides Niebuhr and Triton. Zola and Goran decided to stay out. which is also a questionable choice. Maybe they just didn't want to get held. That's interesting. Maybe they think track position is more important than tires on this track. Lucas now gets a 3-second penalty. That's very unfortunate for him. As I think this is his first penalty right now. It is. The only person with 2 penalties is Triton in P9 with a 6-second penalty. And then Furious, Brooklyn, Curse, Lucas, and Zola Zola 12 all have 3-second penalties. So I think the safety car will go in next lap, because the only car that really has to catch now is Larson, who's currently in P10. As he's flying through his car, that was a bit on the edge. That might have been a track warning. But he is flying down to Parabolica to try to catch up the pack as soon as he can. And he is almost caught up to the pack. So we will have a restart this lap. Grenade Goran will be able to set the pace when the safety car leaves Ascari chicane. Of course, Grenade Goran is on the hard tire compound as well as Zola, so they will have to really warm up their tires to get a good exit out of Parabolica on the restart. And remember, we will still have 11 laps of racing. After safety car, we're just past halfway the race. Safety car in this lap now, so from here on, Goran can set the pace. As he's warming up his tires, let's go on board with him real quick, see how he does that. His temperatures, his rear looks really cold. 80 degrees on both rear tires, that's not optimal for those hard tires. So he will be able to do the restart in just a second. Let's see, when will he go? He's in 4th gear to try to get the best exit possible. He is deciding to go pretty late. Safety car just going in right now. So he might do a Valtteri Bottas here as he's going right now. Zola wasn't sleeping. Everyone is going. We are too wide with Neber and Lucas. As well as I think Curse is getting involved. A lot of people getting involved. Lucas diving up the outside. But Neber keeps it in P3. Side by 5 to the second chicane. Curse has to back out a little bit there. Let's see who that is. That's in the back. That's too wide. That's Triton and Bance, I think. No, that's not. That's Triton and Furious who are going side by side. Triton on the soft tire compound. And Furious, I think, is on a mediums. Now, there was a little bit of touching. Bance side by side with Brooklyn. Through the second chicane, both on a medium tire. Going into last one, still side by side. Bance tried to keep it on the inside. He is still there. Let's go on board with him, see how this fight's going against Brooklyn. Actually, as Niebuhr is right on the tail of Zola Zola and Goran, as those two are fighting on the medium tires, it appears that Niebuhr has to lift a little bit before the corner because the guys in front of him are somewhat slower on the older tires. And Niebuhr is right on the gearbox of Zola Zola. He will try to go for the overtake here. Overtake button is enabled. He's flying past. Will he get 2 in one go? As Grenade Goran is going semi-defensive. He pulls away to the outside. Does he brake later? He does, but does he keep it? There was a touch. The Williams has a penalty. Grant Gordon has a 5-second penalty for corner cutting that might be removed, so we are not sure. Never pushes Zola. Zola off track. Zola now crashes, loses his front wing. Goes into ghost mode really fortunately. But that might be a FIA submission for Niebuhr for pushing off track, as he gets another 3-second penalty as well for that. That was very interesting on the restart. Zola now gets a 3-second penalty as well, as he is in 10th. He's pretty much out of contention for this race, although he can still get a point, as pretty much last person on this track is in P10, which will get a point anyway. Niebuhr now behind Goran again. Will he go for the overtake here? On the soft tires. It looks like he will just wait on the main straight. So a yellow flag, that's Zola again, going slowly through the car chicane. Let's see, will Niebuhr overtake him? DRS is now enabled from this lap on, so on the second straight we will be able to use DRS. Goran has a little look up the inside. Will he brake later? He doesn't, he decides to back out from the overtake on Grenade Goran. Brooklyn gets a 3-second penalty as well. So there's 3 people without penalties, 2 actually, that's Larsen and Bans. Bans currently running in P4, side by side from Grenade Goran and Niebuhr. Niebuhr appears to be in front, has the inside for the second chicane, braking. And Niebuhr gets the move done, now behind him is Curse. Behind Grenade Goran, tries to get him as soon as possible. They will have DRS of course on this second chicane. Let's see, will Curse overtake Grenade Goran? Grenade Goran gets a way better exit. But Curse activates the overtake button immediately, as well as DRS, and he will just fly past Grenade Goran and goes down the inside. Fly past him. Let's see, Bans does have the DRS, but cannot overtake Grenade Goran. He was a bit too far behind. But now, look at that exit. He has way better exit. Bans going to the inside, has a little look on the inside of Parabolica, as Grenade Goran is a little bit forcing him, but it's all clean. Band side by side gets the move done in Parabolica on the inside. Larsen disconnected, I think, there. Niebuhr gets a fastest lap of 121.7. It looks like we have a little bit of fighting there from the Alfa Romeo, Furious and Brooklyn. Furious diving up the inside of the Goran, that is. Doesn't make the move stick. Let's go on board with Triton, as Triton is on the gearbox of Brooklyn. And in front of them there is Furious and Goran fighting. Triton tries to have a little look up the inside, but doesn't make it happen. Really close here on the field. Larsen, the disconnected car, in ghost mode. Can someone invite him back if they're in the lobby? Because I don't have him in my friends list, unfortunately. He tried to get a 3-second penalty. Alright, Larsen is back in the lobby. He is in control of his car again. Niebuhr pulled a 2-second gap now on those soft tires. Goes purple in the middle sector. Kurt's getting a 3-second penalty, so he also has 6 seconds now. Bans is right on his tail. And this will be the fight for P2. As my interval gaps just left. Niebuhr going fastest lap of 121.3. Bans has DRS now. Does he use overtake button? It appears he doesn't. He decides to save some energy. Going down towards third one, but will Furious try to go for the overtake on Goran. He has a little look up the inside, but decides not to go for it. Looking up slightly on the right front. Everyone stays in position currently. But now Furious has a little bit look on the outside. Oh, a little bit of lag there on Grenade Goran. Furious does not have much battery left. Locking up his left front into the chicane. Losing time on Grenade Goran again. Triton another 3-second time penalty. That's not optimal. Bans now gets his first penalty. That's 3 seconds. Grenade Goran is trying to defend his position, but Furious does not have much DRS, but neither does Goran. Now look at it as his light is flashing. So it's really interesting. Triton gets another penalty now. So he will have quite a lot of penalties. As Triton retired from the session, let's see what happened there. He crashed out of the Esquire chicane, got oversteer and went to the right barrier. 6 laps before the end, Triton crashes out of the Grand Prix and loses 2 points. We have a VSC now. So virtual safety car, which will slow the pack down a little bit. Which will allow people to save some ERS and possibly fuel, as well as tires. Let's have a look at the penalty situation. So, Nibra has 3 seconds, Curse has 6 seconds, Bans 3 seconds, Grenade Goran has a 5-second penalty for cutting, but that might be ruined by the FIA. Furious 3 seconds, Brooklyn 6 seconds, Larson doesn't have a penalty, Lucas has 3 seconds, and Zola has 6 seconds. As the VSC will be ending soon. And we will be racing in just a minute. And we are green, we're racing again, no one got a drive through, DRS is enabled, Band straight on it, DRS on, has a lot of ERS saved up. How much ERS does Kurtz have compared to him? Kurtz doesn't have a lot to compare to Band, so Band will have a striking chance within, I assume, 1 or 2 laps on the P2 position right now. But Furious is still behind Goran, so Grenade Goran is really keeping some good pace with those hard tires. He's really defending well against all the other drivers. As now, will Furious now be able to get him? He looks like he will just fly past. DRS open. Doesn't even use the ERS, but he's already passed. And there is Furious into P4. As for Sector 1 yellow flag, what happened there? That might be... That's Curse. What happened to him? I think he outbraked himself, went straight, or he spun on the exit of the second turn. That might have been a little bit of oversteer, causing to panic him a little bit. Brooklyn and Great Goran fighting, a little bit of wheel banging going on there. Great Goran appears to be a little bit frustrated. Larson left the session again. But look how close Brooklyn is. He's gonna be able to overtake him this time. Now there's a yellow flag. It's Lucas' yellow flag. He might have lost traction there and spun. Zola now going fastest with 120.8. Brooklyn overtaking Furious with no issue whatsoever. Just flying past on the second straight. Lucas gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting the second chicane now. Band's already in P2. Not a lot of people left in this Grand Prix anymore. Niebuhr now pulled a 5-second gap already on those soft tires. Is there anyone super close together? The gaps are pretty spread out on the field. Who haven't we spectated a lot? There's a yellow flag. That's Lucas again. I don't know what happened there. He appears to have a red front wing on the right side of his car. So he will probably box this up for a new front wing and try to steal the fastest lap. But he already was on soft tires, so he might have actually spun. Going off track on Parabolic and now diving into the pits. Does he get a 5-second penalty for speeding? No, he doesn't. Gets on the limit very well. Let's see, let's go on board with Curse, because we haven't given him a lot of camera time in the Alfa Romeo, the number 19 car. As he is trying to chase down Grenade Goran, does not have the DRS yet. But Grenade Goran looks to be struggling a lot now on those hard tires, as everyone is starting to catch him slowly. I think Curse might already get him on the main straight, as he's gaining so much through all the corners. And especially in Parabolica, which is a very grip-focused corner. The exit of Curse will be supreme compared to the one that Great Goran will have. There it is, enabled overtake button. Does not have a lot of energy to use, but now DRS as well. Great Goran going semi-defensive. Curse choosing the inside of the corner and just gets past. But Great Goran braking a little bit late. But it looks like Curse has got the move done. The field really spread out quite a lot. Only these two we have together. That's Curse and Grenade Goran. So let's go on board with Grenade Goran and see if he can strike back. But he's really struggling with the grip right now on those old hards. How long has he been on those hards now? Let's see. Tires. 19 laps on the hard tires. Those are gonna be very hard to drive. Furious now gets a 6-second penalty. So I wonder how it's gonna be with people jumping each other on penalties at the end of the race in 3 laps. 2 laps on this actually. Larson finally rejoining. After he got an invite from someone, I resume. Curse is just pulling away from Grenade Goran. A lot, every single corner. Goran still has DRS, but his battery is pretty low. But so is Curse's. Of course, Curse does not have the DRS unless he catches Brooklyn, who's in front of him. Which appears to be happening slowly. As we are just waiting for the gaps to reappear real quick. And the gaps don't want to work. As Lucas gets another penalty. Someone is spun. I think that's Zola. Zola spun on the exit of Ascari with a damaged front wing. So Ascari appears to be getting a lot of people off guard. Which is very unfortunate. Because a lot of people have been losing their front wings or even their whole races on the exit of Ascari. Lucas going fastest with 120.035. Gets him at least 1 point added, so we have 3 points. Zola lagging back a little bit going into the pits. Now, the gaps still aren't here, which is unfortunate. Zola now getting lapped by almost everyone. Besides Larson and Lucas. I dropped my cap. Mercedes of Bands currently in P2, with Furious 1 second behind him. Niebuhr pulled a 7.5 second gap. He's absolutely dominating this race at the front. And just a reminder that he started last. He started in P14 after the disqualification in qualifying. So a supreme drive from Niebuhr. And that's Lucas spun in front. That's Lucas who has spun in Ascari, as a lot of people have, weaving very unhappy, as is understandable. As Niebuhr is now gonna finish the Grand Prix on lap 27. Niebuhr absolutely dominating this whole race, winning by 7.7 seconds. Yellow flag in sector 3, that's Lucas letting him past. And our victor is Niebuhr, now in P2. Coming over the line is that Band. Will penalties affect something? Band stays P2. Brooklyn stays P4. It appears no one is jumping each other. Grenade Goran is still 5 seconds on serve. That might be removed by the stewards though. You never know. Lucas finishing in P8. Larson pretty much in no man's land. Won't jump anyone as he's 16 seconds behind. And he'll be the last to cross over the line. And he appears to be doing donuts. Before the line. And he goes over the line, finishes, and that was the Grand Prix. So our winner is Der Hammer, aka Niebuhr86, who is also driver of the day. Congratulations to him from going last to first. In this, may I say, quite chaotic Monza Grand Prix in 2SRO Tier 2. And P2 with that Band in the Mercedes, and P3 was, I believe that's I Am Furious in the Alfa Romeo. So that's our top 3 right here. I'm Furious 3rd, Brooklyn 4th, Curse 5th, 6th is Goran, 7th is Larson, 8th Lucas, 9th Zola, 10th Triton, 11th Nico, 12th Tipsy Bob, 13th Joel, 14th Matt. Let's just go through the race director real quick, through the incidents, etc. Or if it will be necessary for stewarding. And there it is. A lot of penalties. Really a lot of penalties. And let's go through the pit stops as well, because why not? A lot of pit stops this race as well. 26 pit stops in total. Look at the tire strategy from Grenade Goran. Medium, hard, medium, hard, medium. Very interesting strat. But that was it for the Monza Grand Prix of 2SRL. Let me just see if I can get the interview screen downloaded real quick. I think it's this. Is it this? I'm not sure. Oh, it's a .dot overlay file. Yep, no idea how to use that. Monka. So, yeah. I guess we will just have to do with me putting on this and muting it. So, yes, sir. 126 messages, Jesus Christ. Alright. Let's pull in Niebuhr for an interview, the race winner, and here he comes.
Hey!
Hey, hello. Well, congratulations for the win, first of all, last to first. May I first ask, what happened in quali of the disqualification?
I was planning to start last, so I just did some laps on mediums to get used to like race pace on mediums, kinda. And then I stopped on track to get disqualified, so I could start last.
Right, so that's what I was thinking in the back of my head. But yeah, congratulations on the very good performance, may I say, last to first.
Yeah.
Even with 2 safety cars, it was quite an interesting race.
Yeah, I mean, the first safety car was interesting because that wasn't really that good for me. Because it basically meant the soft runners could go too hard and then didn't lose time, obviously. So I couldn't pull a gap of more than what I think it was 5 or 6 seconds at that point, and it was 1 or 2 laps before my pit window. And then somehow the second safety car came at the perfect moment. And it was not only interesting that I could go on the softs as I planned, but most of the others went on mediums. So then I knew, yeah, if I don't make a mistake now, I can win this race, which is very much above expectations because this is not one of my strong tracks at all. But yeah, I had the tire advantage from them. And then it was just, yeah, I got into an incident with Sola, so I don't know if I will get a penalty for that. So that's why I also pushed on as hard as possible. So in case I get like 5 seconds from the FIA, I can still win the race.
Yes, no, I have seen that incident. I've seen it on stream. So that will be interesting if that will be a FIA report. If not, then not. And if it will, then we'll see how that will end. But
yeah, it was just difficult because I was trying to overtake Goran, but then he overshoot the corner. He braked really late on hards, and I knew he wasn't going to make it. So I cut to the inside, and he missed the corner. I think he also got 5 seconds for that. But then when he rejoined the track, I was watching where he rejoined so that my car is safe, but I didn't watch what was happening around me. So I didn't notice that Zola was next to me. So then I kind of pushed him off without knowing he was there. And then I saw it in my mirrors. I saw him spin and I was like, shit. But yeah, that's nothing I can do.
That was very unfortunate. But yeah, I was very surprised that no one on the second safety car, besides like you and another guy, that everyone went on the mediums and almost no one went on the softs.
Yeah, I'm really, really surprised. The only thing I can think of is that maybe they didn't have any fresh softs left, and then it may be a bit difficult at the end. But I mean, there's 2 lap safety car, and then it's what is it, 12 or 11 laps? So you can do that on
I
soft.
think
So
you boxed on, it was lap 16. Start lap 16.
yeah,
So
it
it
could
was
be.
about 10 laps that you would have to
Yeah,
drive.
yeah. So really surprising. But yeah, I'm not complaining, obviously.
Yeah, well, congratulations once again on the win, and let's hope you get to continue the streak on next week's race, I believe. I think that's Singapore.
Yeah, definitely not doing last to first here. That's
Yeah, Singapore would be an interesting track to the last to first there.
Yeah, I think with the points advantage I have, I might try a race without assists because I'm transitioning to that next year, and I think the championship is a bit safe now. So I might try no assist there. That means I'll be a bit slower,
That'll be
but
interesting to see.
might be fun.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I wish you good luck with the championship, and hoping for you that you can continue this winning streak.
thank you. I will try.
All right, have a nice one.
Yep, you too.
And then we will get our guy from third, which is Furious. I just asked if he wants to have an interview. Because I don't want to just pull him in and be like, oh yeah, hi, and then he's just AFK. That would be pretty interesting. I'll just pull him in, see what happens. Hello?
Oh.
So, you're in the interview room, if you didn't
Yeah.
know that. First of all, congratulations on P3 in the race.
Thank you.
And how did you find the race? Because it was quite interesting, let's just call it that.
Yeah. At a very bad quali, I could have been, I think, 5th or 7th, but the race was actually pretty interesting because I got wing damage in first lap because someone spun and I couldn't stop the car, and the safety car really saved me. But yeah, it was pretty tough because in the end, Grenade Goran really defended well. So yeah, it took some time to get past him, but yeah. Also, that band's really made his car wide when I had the chance to overtake him. But yeah, we touched multiple times. I think I almost went off. But yeah, it was very good race.
Well, that's interesting because I don't think I've got that on stream, but of course you can always report it to the FIA if that's necessary.
Yeah, it was more like hard racing, nothing too major. Side by side, in online you might even touch because of the connection stuff. So yeah, it wasn't that serious. I didn't get any damage or something. So
All right, so but yeah, now I'm just looking back because on the second safety car that was on lap 16, I believe, a lot of people went on the medium tires.
yeah, I did too.
And a question that I want to ask personally is how come you didn't go on the soft tires?
I think I started on softs, then I went softs again.
Oh yes, of course. That's
So
I forgot you went on
I could,
softs on second safety car as well.
yeah, I went softs because I thought like maybe there's another safety car, and I saw that everybody were on hard, so I get the pace advantage. But the DRS lines were so powerful that I couldn't get through, even though I had the pace. I couldn't really maximize my pace.
Yeah, the DRS is very powerful on this track.
Yeah, I think if I would have been in clear air, I would have been a lot faster. But yeah, it's what it is.
But yeah, very well driven, and congratulations on P3.
Yeah, my first podium in this season. So
Oh yeah, congratulations on that then as well, and hope you can get another good result next week in Singapore.
yeah, I really hope so. I started on the wheel like a few weeks ago, so I'm still learning the wheel and no assist. And I think Singapore will be tough for me.
Singapore will definitely be tough, but you
But
think you
it's
can
one
get
of my
some points there?
favorite tracks. It's one of my favorite tracks. On my pad, I got my first win there.
Ooh, so we can expect a decent result from you at least.
Well, if I don't spin.
Let's just say you won't. Let's just believe in you and hope to see you on the
I'm
podium next week
trying
again.
not to. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to go because I have tier 1 in 5 minutes to drive.
Mhm.
So you have a good one.
Yeah, thank you. See ya.
Yeah. All right, so I will end the stream here. Thank you everyone for watching. Everyone have a beautiful day, and I'll speak to you guys next time.